Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Jnanatimurandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sa Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Hitamscha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Radha Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so what we are going to talk about today? Do you were chanting 𝗙𝗪𝗃 now, just now? Yeah. So we can talk about either 𝗙𝗪𝗃 or... Do you all know words from Nectar of Devotion? Ādau Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sang. You all know this verse? Atha Bhajana Kriya. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk. How to advance in spiritual life. That's a topic. How do we know that we are advancing in spiritual life? That's another topic, no? So we might know that we are advancing. We might know how to advance, but we might know that we are advancing or not. And somebody even do not know how to advance. That's another point. So there are a few questions, important questions, because we are all doing devotion. We all want to advance and we want to perfect our lives. Okay, so what does Rupa Goswami has to tell us in this regard? So Rupa Goswami, we all know, he has written a book, Nectar of Devotion. Bhakti Ras Amrita Sindhu. Everybody has read that book, Nectar of Devotion? Prabhupada. So in the eastern wave, eastern section, so that book is divided into 4 chapters, eastern, southern, west and north. In the eastern part section, you have 5 waves, 5 chapters, 5 sections. And one of them is Sadhana Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti. So Rupa Goswami, he says that Sadhakanam ayam premna pradhurbhave bhavet krama. This is first chapter, first section, 4th wave and the last verse. 1.4.20, something like this. You can go and check. Prabhupada gives a translation in English, but if you go to original Sanskrit thing, you will find there. There is a verse, Ādau Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sang Atha Bhajana Kriya. Everybody knows this verse? No? Oh. Tatha Narth Nivritti Syat Tatha Atha Nishtha Tatha Ruchi Tatha Asakti Tatha Bhava Premas Tatha Sadhakanam Ayam Premna Pradhurbhave Bhavet Krama. So, a practicing devotee, he is approaching the temple of love. But there is a staircase and there are steps. And you have to walk on those steps and then approach Radha and Krishna. So what are those steps? That's what Rupa Goswami is telling us. To approach, to get love of God, there's a systematic, scientific method. You can't do it in one day. You might not be able to do it in millions of lives also. And you may be able to do it this second. It depends how we understand the subject. So what's the first step? Rupa Goswami says, first step is Ādau. Ādau means contact with devotees. So you know a Vedanta Sutra, there's first aphorism in Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is a book which give analysis of Vedas. First aphorism is, sutra is 𝗙𝗲𝗀 𝗪𝗲 Jigyasa. It is good. So what this means? Huh?
Now you must inquire.
Yeah, now, therefore, atah, therefore, it's a time to inquire about absolute truth. Why? What's the meaning of now? Now it's a time to inquire absolute truth. Vyasadeva starts like that. Now, therefore, it's a time to inquire about absolute truth. Why he says now and therefore? Two adjectives, two words. He says now it's a time to inquire about absolute truth. Now when you have got what?
A human form of life.
Human form of life? No. This is not right answer. Because this might be a good, okay. You can translate like that also. But Bhaktivedanta Bhushan, he doesn't write commentary like that. Because now when you have got human form of life, you have to inquire about absolute truth. That's okay. But Bhaktivedanta Bhushan says, okay, fine. There are so many human. Every human is not inquiring about absolute truth. You got my point? So Vyasadeva, he says now and therefore he also adds one word. Why? Now when you got a human life and when you have got association of devotees, as soon as you meet a devotee, start your journey, that's all. Don't think anything. Inquire about absolute truth. That is the point where your devotion will begin, with association of devotees. You know what, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we had one Nimi Maharaj. You know this Nimi Maharaj, 11th canto? The king, named as Nimi. So he was sitting, like I was sitting on the throne, and 9 saints came to him. And the name of those saints was, anybody? The name of those saints was Navayogendra, 9 yogis, which was son of Rishabdev. They were very big yogi, very big saints. They came. They were coming from the gate. And Nimi Maharaj told, stop. Stop there. And he told, I have a question for you. You see, if I come in this room and you stop me, stop. And I have a question for you. What I'll say, come on. First you have to let me come, first make me sit and then ask me a question. No, he just said stop and I have a question for you. And what they said, those saints became unhappy. They become so happy. They told, nobody treated us like this. It's the best treatment. Everybody, we come and they invite us, we sit on the chair, they wash our feet, they give us mala. That's good. No doubt. And then after chit chat or 𝗙𝗲𝗋𝗶𝗋, whatever it is, then some spiritual questions. But you are just asking us spiritual questions. And what he asked, I have a question, what is the purpose of human life? He asked them. And he was so happy. They told, we can understand your inquisitiveness to understand God. So if you want to give a treat to any saint, if you want to honor a saint, what you should give him? What should you give him?
Ask questions.
Yeah, you should give him questions. This is his honor. This is his honor. This is said by Vallabhacharya in his commentaries. This is what. He is happy by other gifts, but the best gift is questions. And that is why if you read Bhagavatam, you read Bhagavatam. Parikshit Maharaj is asking question to Sudev. Or Shaunak Rishi, they are asking to Sutta Goswami. And before answering the question, what they are saying? Oh, nice question. It is so nice question. And I am going to answer this for the benefit of entire society. No? Before answering, they are praising the person who is asking question. You read that. Every time it's like that. Because that's the best thing you can give to him. So always ask questions. Anybody who comes here to speak, just eat his mind. Ask questions. Don't sit. That's what he wants. With that he'll get enthused. No? idea of devotion is to make any person happy, no? So how do you make him happy? Asking questions. So he'll speak about Krishna. That's what saints like to do. They want to speak about Krishna, no? You have to give them opportunity to speak about Krishna by asking questions. That's all. And if he doesn't like entertaining questions, then he's not a saint. That's all. He wants to discuss and discuss and discuss. That is the enthusiasm a devotee should have. Enthusiasm, always, devotee who is enthusiastic, he wants to speak about Krishna. No? And a devotee who is enthusiastic, a hearer, people who are hearing, you want to speak and hear, speak and hear, speak and hear. That's what you want to do. Entire life. Actually, Vishwanath Thakur, he has written a book, 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗀𝗀, and he prays to Krishna. Krishna, I have a prayer. And Krishna says what? It's an unusual prayer. If Krishna asks you, what do you pray to me? What do you say? What's your answer? Krishna suddenly comes here and he asks you, okay, pray. What do you want to say to him? And you have to speak something. You can't just keep quiet in front of Krishna. You can't just keep quiet. So, and you have to immediately answer, he's God. Can he come or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
It's not a just theory. He can come. He can do anything. If you believe he can do anything. So he can just come out of this picture and okay, fine, pray. What do you pray? Quick. No time.
Sutta Bhakti. Sutta Bhakti.
Okay, Nadhanam, Nadhanam. Okay, give me Shuddha Bhakti. Nadhanam, Nadhanam. I don't want this. I want service of a lotus feet bath afterward. Good. Anything else? Krishna likes this prayer. Perfect. Okay, fine. Krishna will say, I accept it. No problem. Can you pray to me in such a way? A prayer which nobody has prayed to me. Can you pray like that to me? So, you know what? It is said in Golok, we were reading Brahma Samhita. Every day is a festival. You have heard in Golok? Every word is a song. Every moment is new. That's what makes Golok interesting. Every idea, every concept, it's new. Punar navam. That's what is said by Madhva. Again and again, things are happening, but in new way. Things repeat in spiritual world. We all know. Krishna daily goes to cow. Daily goes to, comes back with gopis, he eats his lunch. It's a regular schedule. But punar navam. It happens in new way. Every second it's new. And that's what makes it interesting, no? Variety is mother of enjoyment. So Krishna says, yeah, I've heard this prayer from so many people. He can say that. Na dhanam, na janam, I have got bored by this. Is there any other prayer? I know you know this stuff. I know this stuff. Is there any other prayer? What is the aim of devotion? What is the aim of devotion? What is the object?
Satisfy Krishna.
Yeah, to make Krishna happy, no? Yeah, to make him jump. That's what we want, no? Not just to please him, we want him to jump in happiness. We want to please him to the maximum, in all respects, no? So what do? So Krishna says, yeah, I want some prayer so that I get some nice interest, and that is why Krishna made Vrindavan. In Vaikuntha he was bored, no? We all know. All rishis, prayers, Vedas, what's happening? I got bored. So I want Vrindavan where people can play with me. No? Is it? Where gopis can abuse me. He wants to hear abuse. He wants to be abused. Nobody's abusing me. I want somebody to scold me, Yashodhama. You got this point? So if you pray like this, that's nice. But we have to learn how to pray in such a way so that it becomes interesting to Krishna. To give him enjoyment. So, na dhanam, na janam, na sundaram. Okay. I'm bored. He can say like that or not? Can he or not? He can say this is he wants whatever he wants. So any other prayer, any interesting prayer? Quick, you can't speak, you can't keep quiet. It's Krishna asking, I'm not asking. To quickly speak, you have to get trained. That is why we are all here. We are training ourselves. We're preparing ourselves to meet Krishna face to face. That is devotion. What we are doing here. You're not simply hearing lecture, no? I am giving lecture, you are hearing. It's not like that. It's not like that. I'm preparing you, or Vaishnavas are preparing other devotees to meet Krishna face to face and then have conversation. So when you go to Golok, you have to talk to Krishna. You will talk to Krishna or not? Or not? You just sit behind? No, you can't do that. Everybody talks. You should know how to talk. And you should know to make every word anew. Every word. You can't repeat them. Okay, so any other prayer? Quick. Quick, you have to speak. What?
Maha Mantra. She's saying Maha Mantra.
Just recite the Maha Mantra in front of him.
And yes, Krishna will say, I'm hearing Maha Mantra. It's Maha Mantra, I got bored. Anything else? That's okay. You have to chant Maha Mantra. I know.
Just make
I
it
think most
music.
of the prayers I heard is like they glorify Krishna by saying that you don't have any beginning, you no end, everything you are cause of.
That's what, no? He's got bored by this.
Okay.
That's all Vaikuntha stuff. That's not bad.
Mhm.
I mean to say that's not, of course, not bad is not a good word. That's excellent. But I want something else. So Krishna wants, okay, speak. I want to hear. I want to hear. I want to enjoy. Okay, so Vishwachakra Thakur's prays too. If you read prayers of saints, then you will learn how to pray. You have to learn how to pray. And then you have to learn how to glorify. Everything you have to learn now. We are like absolutely dull people, no? You don't know anything. So you're dull. You don't know even how to talk. Do you agree with me? Is it? You might say, well, I know how to talk. He's like crazy person, you know. We don't know how to talk, we don't know how to sit, we don't know how to walk, we don't know how to behave. We don't know anything. And that is why scriptures give training. There is so many chapters in Manu Samhita to train how to talk, how to behave. Okay, fine. So Vishwachakra Thakur prays. In one of his book, there is a book, 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗀. So he prays, Krishna, my prayer is, give me millions of bodies. He prays this. We are praying to Krishna, Krishna, free us from this body. He's praying ulta, give me millions of bodies, see? So this is interesting, no? Is it not? Nobody prayed like this. So it makes Krishna, okay, yeah, this is nice, yeah. Krishna, this is like not old stuff, this is something new stuff. Got my point? So Krishna amuses the entire world, but devotees know how to amuse Krishna. That is bhakti. Jnanis, yogis, they are amused by Krishna. He's so great. But why Krishna is amused by devotees, no? Because devotees know how to amuse Krishna. So millions of bodies. So Krishna asks Vishwachakra Thakur, why do you want millions of bodies? Isn't body burden? Isn't it an obstacle? So Vishwachakra Thakur says, well, it might be an obstacle for others, but as far as I am concerned, I want millions of bodies because millions of bodies have millions of years. I will have millions of years. And by those millions of years, I will hear your glories. It's nice prayer, no? It's unusual, it's nice, and Krishna likes that. And I have millions of tongues by which I can chant your holy names again and again, again and again, again and again. So yeah, then Krishna. That is why Vishwachakra Thakur is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. No? We are not Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There's a difference, no? So you got what's the difference? If you want to become like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, if you want to become like a pure devotee, then you have to learn this art. That's all. And that's why we have to read books. Books, we have to read prayers. There are so many prayers in Bhagavatam. Kunti Maharani, Gajendra, Prithu Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj. There are so many prayers. There's so many prayers. And then Rupa Goswami, and there are so many. Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many prayers. Okay, so Adav, that's what I was talking about. When you meet a devotee, your spiritual journey not starts, but you're introduced to spiritual life. Time to inquire about absolute truth. As soon as you meet a devotee, don't waste time. Ask questions. But to ask questions, you should have questions. Isn't it? And to have questions, you should have read. You should have thought about the matter. And then you'll have questions. Otherwise, you'll have no questions. You know, for sometimes we think that Krishna consciousness is pretty clear. Isn't it? If you chant, take prasad, go to preaching, and be happy. Over. No? Finish. But that's not finish. So yeah, we should have questions. We should be ready for that. We should be ready to meet devotees and give them a treat. Okay. If any devotee comes next time, keep a copy ready. So please wait. Take out your notebook. Okay, I have these questions. So the first question, second question, third question. He'll be happy. So Bhaktivedanta was very happy. Prabhupada, you see, he was discussing with people, no? All the time. In Vrindavan, he was there, so many people coming to Prabhupada. He was discussing, questions. He was very happy. So this is Adav, you understand? So, spiritual life, you are introduced to spiritual life by association of devotees. It's called Adav. Adav means beginning. So, okay, next is, when you associate with these kind of people, with devotees, next step is Shraddha, faith. Faith. You get faith. How do you define faith and how do you get faith? Two questions. What's the definition of faith? Anybody can tell me?
It's a strong conviction that
Okay.
you believe.
Yeah, it's a strong conviction, yeah. But that's pretty much synonym, no? It's a synonym of faith, strong conviction. I want the meaning. Meaning.
Strong affinity.
That's again a synonym.
Belief.
I want meaning of that. Meaning.
See, whatever you establish a faith in somebody, whatever they say, whatever they do, you believe in. You don't question. Right?
Yeah, faith. You should have faith, no? But then, it doesn't define that, no?
Mm-hmm.
When I ask people, what is faith? They say, yes, we should have faith. But what is this? Like, you have to define it to me. That's what I was talking, science. This is science. The ISKCON is known. Prabhupada opened ISKCON because Prabhupada wanted to present spirituality as science, no? That's what he was saying, science, spiritual, science, self-realization. There's a book, but always said there is science. Okay, so what's the definition of faith? Yeah.
A state of knowing that what you believe in is true.
Well, it's on clear cut. On clear cut, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a science book. Tuck. Anybody can understand. No ambiguity. This definition has some ambiguity, You have to explain what is the state of knowing, what is this. Makes things not so pretty clear. Okay, so faith is defined as, there is a verse for this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada often quotes. You might be knowing, Shraddha Shabde, you know this? 𝗙𝗲𝗋𝗪𝗀𝗃, 𝗬𝗲𝗪 Krishna Consciousness, 𝗙𝗲𝗋𝗪𝗀𝗃. There's a verse. What is faith? Mahaprabhu defines. Faith is, first thing, conviction in scriptures. If you don't have conviction in scriptures, there is no meaning to faith, So, Vishwas, this is the word used. Vishwas, Acharya speaks. If you go to India, if you ask anybody here also, Do you have faith in God? Yeah, I have so much faith in God. Okay, fine. Have you read scriptures? Remember you know that? No, I have not read, but I have got faith in God. Then his faith doesn't mean anything, no? Because faith, Prabhupada said, no, religion without philosophy is sentiment. It's a sentiment, it's not faith. So, foundation of faith is scriptures. You should always remember. And this is an important question. If you go to South India, and if you meet any Madhva, so a saint coming in Madhvacharya Sampradaya, if you meet them, and if you want to debate with them, they'll ask this question. Define faith. And if you say any other definition except this, to have faith means to believe in scriptures, they will say, Ladige, Laddu lao, Tata bye, take Laddu, thank you very much. They will not talk. They will not talk. This is a system. They will not talk, because if you can't define faith, how will you argue with them? What debate you will do? Because we have not read scriptures. If you have not read scriptures, then argument is illogical. No? You can keep on speaking something else. So Mahaprabhu defines, yes, scriptural faith is real faith. Otherwise it's blind. So faith, first thing in faith is, when we talk about faith, scriptures. We should have knowledge. Our faith should proceed from scriptures. It should not proceed from something hearing from society. Is it? We also heard, but it should not proceed from there. It should not proceed from our own speculations. It should proceed from proper scriptural knowledge. That's, you understand? And then, Krishna Consciousness 𝗙𝗂𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 is pleased, everybody will be pleased. If Krishna is not pleased, then what is the use of pleasing anybody? Anyway. So that conviction you will have. So that is called faith. Okay, faith. Fine. We define faith. How do you get faith? Can anybody tell me? How do you get this faith? This kind of faith?
Association.
Association?
And reading the scripture, like you said.
Reading the scripture? Any other answer? Many people read scripture, but they don't get faith, no?
Associating with those who have faith.
The pure devotee. Associating with the pure
Yeah, you get faith from faith.
devotee.
This is the definition. Bhakti sanjayate bhakti. Faith comes from faith.
Pure devotee.
And where does faith lie? In the heart of
Pure devotee.
devotees. That's all. There is no other way. You can't get faith from books. It's impossible. Faith is grounded on scriptures, but you don't get faith from scriptures. You got my point? You don't get faith from there. Foundation of faith is scriptures. But from where you get this faith? From the heart of pure devotees. So when pure devotees meet, you understand what I'm saying? Everybody understands?
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is, when you preach, we all preach, what we are supposed to give the other person? Yes, not information. Don't give information, only give faith. Give conviction in faith. That's what, as a preacher, you have to do. Because generally in ISKCON, in any institution happens. You have to preach, oh, where is my database? You don't remember Krishna, you remember Vedabase, and then search, and then hits comes, and then you make some points, masala. Masala is one terminology. So you get some points, and then you make something. Okay, this is my lecture. Okay, I spoke nicely. This is absolute craziness. This is not what we are supposed to do here. People can read books. Everybody can read book. Instead of preparing a lecture, searching on Vedabase, you can just ask them, go to Vedabase, type humility and have hits, and then you can learn. He can also do that. What's the difference between you and him? Our job here is to give him faith in the subject matter, that which he cannot have. We are supposed to give people what they can't earn themselves. Otherwise, what's the point of doing anything? No, that's a job of a preacher, and that's a big job. No, Because you're giving something which they don't have. Suppose you have to earn that, and then you have to give. Otherwise, how will you give? Jan sartha kari, karo paropkar. Mahaprabhu says, first get that and then give. Otherwise, you will not be able to give. So, Srila Prabhupada, what he gave us? He didn't give us information. I mean to say, he could have spoken so many things, but he stuck to basics, no? You're not this body. Krishna is supreme. Always is repeating. But still we like to hear Prabhupada, no? Now also, even he speaks. Why? You don't get bored. Because we know he is giving us faith. We understand that. Our soul can feel that. That's why we like to hear to Prabhupada, no? But if you give lectures here, and if every lecture you repeat the same point, you're not this body or soul. Krishna is supreme. Next lecture, Sunday lecture, you're not this body or soul. Krishna is supreme. People will say, Prabhuji, thank you very much. We know Krishna is supreme. So, yeah, somebody else has to give lecture. So, there's a problem with us now. Our focus is different. Our focus should be to give faith and enthusiasm, no? That's why we have come here. We all devotees by it, to get enthusiasm, no? Otherwise you can also discuss all these things. It's not a big deal. But we have to get enthusiasm, and faith is contagious. That's contagious. So you have to nurture faith and give faith. Okay, so this is Shraddha. Okay? So after Shraddha, if you have to increase your faith, we also all have to increase faith. So you go to next level. Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sam. Now you take association of devotees to increase faith. Once you have got faith from devotees, once you have got that spark, you have to fan it. Faith is the passport to enter devotion. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, Shraddhavan Jane, that sound? Nadiya Gotru mein. So he says, this is the one prize. Namahat. In the shop of holy name, you can buy holy name, but there's one prize, faith. So you can get devotion, there's one prize, faith. Okay. So fine, you got this faith. Okay, now you have to nurture it. Now it's your job. This is a gift given by Krishna through his devotees, faith. He has done his job, now it's your job to carry it all the way up to love. So he has done his job from his side. Mercy. So now don't eat his brain, give me mercy. Don't frustrate him. Now you do your job, he has done. That's all. I've given you the most precious thing, faith. Sukadeva Goswami says, no, having faith is like meeting of two sticks in an ocean. That example is given in first, this first very nice example. If you have two sticks in an ocean, how much possibility is there that they'll meet? Two sticks. 0. So that is the fortune of meeting a devotee and getting faith.
Wow.
So that's absolute mercy Krishna has given us. So now we are indebted to him, and we have to nurture this faith now. Okay, fine. Now you have to put efforts. It's not mercy is done. Put efforts. When you put efforts, then more mercy will be given. And now it's your turn. No, I play dice. Now you have to play. That's all. So okay, next is now you find sadhu sang. Now you find devotees to cultivate faith. So you need to associate with those devotees which will help you to increase your faith. Not all devotees. So there are some bad devotees, you can say like that. Devotee is not bad. But just like we say pure devotion and impure devotion, we tell, no? So devotion is not impure, but we are impure. So similarly, devotee is not bad, but there is something called bad devotee. That person is bad. And he's trying to do devotion now. So that's a bad. So you have to choose. You have to be really choosy if you want to advance in devotion. You have to choose whom to associate with. Okay, so my question is, what are the qualifications of a devotee which you will find? You have to choose him. What you will see in that devotee? To choose a devotee.
Discipline.
Okay, discipline, yeah. Can you define discipline? What do you mean by discipline? There are so many meanings of discipline. Like this yoga studio, according to them, discipline is. So what do you mean by that?
Like regular chanting, having strong faith.
Okay, you can say one qualification is his sadhana should be strong. What he speaks, he does. What he does, he speaks. What is on dais, he's out of the dais. What is out, he's on the dais. He's same person, no? So that is good. One qualification. Anything?
He should be true.
True? The same thing. What he's speaking, he's acting. He's
Yeah.
true, no?
His
So that's-
action,
That's the same thing, no?
Yeah, his action and words should.
So that's dealt with. That's okay.
So he should be enthusiastic.
That's okay. Strong sadhana. Everything is there.
Sadhu, Shastra and those like three things should be the same like.
Okay. But what do you mean by that?
Understanding the
Okay. Yeah, he should have knowledge of scriptures, no? Otherwise, what do you associate with him for?
He should have he should realize, he has himself realized the Krishna, and he can help you realize Krishna.
But this is quite subjective. How will you know he has realized Krishna? Anybody can say I have realized Krishna. You can also say I have realized Krishna. You can also say. I can also say. There's no way to objectively quantify that. That's okay, but I need some science which you can objectively quantify. That is science. Understanding? That's objective things. So this is objective. This point we discussed, you can see what he's doing outside dais or on the dais as easily anybody can see. This is a good point. Any other point? He should be knowledgeable. He should have knowledge of the subject matter. Otherwise, there's a Hindi saying, no? Ram milai jodiye 𝗙𝗂𝗪 Suna hai? I don't know anybody. So that kind of association, you don't advance. You can keep on going in devotion, but you don't advance. You have to take higher association, not same level association. You don't advance, you never advance. To find higher association, association will not come to you. You have to find somebody who is higher than you, who is more knowledgeable than you. You got my point? So sometimes or many times we associate, no? So Mataji, Prabhuji, come, let's associate. All are 𝗙𝗪 Ram milai jodi 𝗙𝗪 Koli. All are same level. And he's saying something, he's saying something, and then he's saying something. No understanding, no conclusions, no higher thoughts. And then prasadam. Nice. This is good association. It's okay. I'm not saying it's not okay. Something is better than nothing. But the idea is not something here. We have to attain a goal of life. It is urgent. It is urgent. Because there are so many forces to stop you. You don't realize there's so many forces to stop you. It is mercy of Krishna that we are sitting here. Otherwise, in 1 minute we can be out. There's so many obstacles can come. Maya is at work. In America, you can call it Saturn or Shaitan. This word is coming from Shaitan, you know, this Arabic word. There's nothing called a Saturn word. But yeah, so illusion is working and she wants us to be out of this room. But Krishna is protecting us by his invisible mercy or whatever. And if we start feeling safe, we are fooled. We are safe in shelter of Krishna. But we should know outside there is danger. We should know both things now. Inside house we are safe, but we should not forget that outside there are demons. No? Like yesterday. So that's also that is there. Don't forget the outside world when you are inside. You have to remember the reality. So that's the point.
Prabhu, when we are feeling safe inside Krishna, why we need to think about the demons outside?
Because they're plotting to get you away from Krishna. And they'll be successful in that plot. They're very strong. They can confuse you very easily. No? And this happened. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servant, who was he? Krishna Das? He went to South India. He left Chaitanya. He was seduced. He forgot outside world. So they are working, bhai. They are not sitting idle. They are working. Don't forget that. And they will catch you. We are weak now. We are weak. We are not strong enough to resist those forces. They will catch you. How many people fell down in the history of ISKCON? You see, how many people? One after another, after another, after another. Not small devotees, big sannyasis. This is our history. Let's learn from history. Let's not close our eyes. It will learn, no, so that it doesn't repeat. If big sannyasis can fall down, who are we? We are nothing. We are nothing. And that is why scriptures say, don't even sit with your mother in a room, alone in a room, no? When I read that, I thought, what is this? You're not supposed to sit with your mother in a room which is alone. You got my point? It seems absurd. But it is absurd, at least for Indians. I don't know about the rest. But the point is, they are trying to say, don't trust your mind. Your mind can do anything. Your mind is under control. So we are with Krishna, but there is a wireless control. They are controlling us. We are inside, but there is a control outside. The technology is like that. So yeah, second thing is, devotee should be...
I have a question on this point.
Yeah, okay.
Can I ask a question on this?
Yeah, you can ask, but I think I'm discussing about qualifications of devotee, fine. So we'll keep it there. Now ask.
So you're saying inside they are secure, but outside not. And I noticed that what you're just saying, it's just I'm experiencing. We go outside to do book distribution, and guess what? We meet all kind of people. Then how do you when you're trying to give them something, they invite you to do what they believe which is right. Now it's like how do you make progress over there? How do you stay away from them? You still have to want to go out and distribute this knowledge.
Yeah, so you have to get charged properly.
How do you do
Inside,
that?
you have to get charged inside,
Right.
so that when you go out, you don't get discharged.
But you see the point, because you want to go out and then.
Yeah, so Srila Prabhupada said, there were few devotees in Prabhupada's time who were going to LA, who were distributing books in LA, and they were going in all these big festivals, where boys and girls come and there's jazz and they are like almost half naked. And then they told Prabhupada, nice preaching is going. Prabhupada told, first of all, tell me what you're doing there, all of you. You're brahmacharis. What are you doing there? You should not be there. Even if it's a good book distribution, because you'll fall down. So Prabhupada warned them. So we have to understand what is the limits. That is very important. If we go beyond our limits, instead of saving that person, we'll drown with him.
That's what
So that's very important in this preaching movement. It's very important to understand our limits. And in Manu Samhita it is said, anybody who exceeds his limits, he's a demon. He's a demon because he's proud. He thinks I can do more than what I can. That's pride, no? So Manu Samhita says every person, every gentleman should accept, I cannot do this, I can do this. Okay. I can't do this, that's okay. It's beyond my limits, that's all fine, I'll try to do that later, but now I can't. It's good. But Indians have that habit, no? You can do this, yeah? हो जाएगा. ये भी हो जाएगा. And then you end up, then you will not do anything. And you will not let others also do. This is a disease, this is a demoniac disease there. And at least in America this is good. People say, I can do this. If they can't, they'll not. They frankly say, I cannot do this. It's like that, I'm correct. So we have to get rid of the habit. It's a bad habit. So you got that point. So there are many points in that, but one point I can think about that. So we have to balance. How much book distribution, how much book reading. Both things. There's a quote from Prabhupada. Prabhupada has written a letter. I don't know to him, but Prabhupada writes, my devotees distribute books, but they don't read my books. Prabhupada said that. And Prabhupada said, if they are distributing books and if they are not reading books, it is a materialistic activity. That's a very big statement, very big statement. It's a materialistic activity, it no longer remains spiritual. That Prabhupada says, it becomes mechanical, you know.
You're doing a business kind of.
Yeah, I mean to say intentions might be okay. We are distributing books, that's very nice. Book distribution should go on like it's a first thing, that's a Prabhupada's movement. But you have to complete it with reading those books. That's very nice. Then it becomes complete. Then it becomes a spiritual, fully spiritual activity. So that's another thing I can think of. Please read. Okay, so next point of devotees, he should be knowledgeable. Third point, he should be able to explain that knowledge. That's very important, I mean to say. If he might know things, but if he's not able to explain, what's the point of associating with him? A point of associating with him in a broad sense, I mean to say. It's not that you don't associate with any other devotee, but to advance, you need a particular type of devotee also, who can also explain you things, no? That's a good idea, otherwise prasadam. That's all. That will happen, nothing else. Nothing else. Feasting, prasadam. We are not here to eat prasadam, no. Prasadam is good. We'll get prasadam now. But that's not the purpose, no. That's not the purpose. It is favorable, but it is not the purpose, no. It adds, but that's not the agenda. Agenda is something else.
You are insulting me, Prabhuji.
No, oh, you made prasadam? Okay. No, even addings are required, no? Perks are also required to keep enthusiasm alive. That's required. In company you get perks, otherwise you don't do job. So these are like perks, okay, good, yeah. You alive, you do get enthusiasm, that's good. I appreciate it. But that's not the real agenda. The agenda is to purify ourselves, to advance. No? Everybody knows this. So, yeah, he should be able to explain. And the fourth point is, he should be able to solve your doubts. So, that's what I was telling. If somebody comes and explains you everything, and then he explains, and then you have questions, he can't solve your questions, you end up in confusion and you go back home becoming more confused than before. Then what's the point of associating with that? You can associate, but it's not an ideal situation. Ideal association. I'm talking about ideal condition. I'm not saying you don't associate with devotees, please do. But to advance, you need some ideal situation also in your life. So, you should be able to handle your doubts. So then, if you find such a devotee, good. Catch him. Don't let him go anywhere. That's all. So catch his dhoti. So he can run. Just catch him. That's a good idea. So then you will advance. Okay, fine. So this is sadhu sangha. Okay. Faith. By associating with such sadhu, you nurture your faith. Your faith increases. You get interest. You get enthusiasm. You get clarity. You get determination. And your goal becomes clear, love of God. And you have to achieve it in this life, before death. Somehow or the other. You have to do something. It's an urgent situation. It is emergency. It is not, you can't take it lightly. If there is a road, and you have to cross the road, and on the road there are so many beasts, lion, tiger, and people are standing with guns. And you have to cross that road, you have to run through that road, you have to cross that road and go to the other side. But you have to face all these people. What do? You walk or run?
Run fast.
Run, no? You can't walk. So why are you walking now? You have to run. There's so many beasts, so many obstacles on the path of devotion, and you're walking. No, you'll get shot. To run and quickly achieve the goal. Quickly achieve to the other end. Go to that other end. This is faith, we are standing here. That is love. The other end. There's a big road. So run, you have to run. There's no point of walking, crawling. There's no question of that. It's an urgency. That's what Prabhupada tells. It's an urgency. Everybody was with Prabhupada. They felt that urgency, Everybody. And now ISKCON is lacking that. That urgency is lost. It is lost. We all know Prabhupada's time was different, now it's different. We all know. Everybody can feel that. That's no question. He was urgent. Okay, do this, do that, do that. There's no time. Prabhupada knew there's no time. So there's no time. So as devotees will give you faith, enthusiasm, and that urgency. They'll give you that. So that we can break our inertia. We can break our laziness. We can break our stupid speculations. What about my health? What will happen if I chant more? Tomorrow, if I chant more, then tomorrow I'll have constipation. If I don't sleep properly, I'll get headaches. You have to keep your health proper. That's very important. But there's a trap also. If you become too health conscious, then you don't do austerities. You don't spend extra time for Krishna. And then there's also a trap. Always remember, every coin has two sides. Positive, negative. Everything has two aspects. So we have to remember both things. We have to save ourselves from the trap and use that thing to advance. So, okay. So what's next? Next sadhu sanghs. Now we get association of devotees. Good devotees. We nurture our faith. We get enthusiastic, urgent. We get everything. Okay, good. Next step is Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sang Atha Bhajana Kriya. Now when you become urgent, when you feel that urgency, when you feel enthusiasm, then you go to Bhajana Kriya. You start practicing devotion with full enthusiasm, determination and patience. Rupa Goswami says, Bhajan Kriya. You start doing something for Krishna. Krishna, I want to do something for you. Chant your holy names, serve your devotees, do this preaching program. Yes, I want to do something. Also, I want to purify my mind. I want to plan for you. What will I do for you? I want to understand you, understand the truth of Krishna consciousness. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Prem Tattva are. Ras Tattva, Bhav Tattva, Leela Tattva, Sar. Krishna's Swami says, you want to understand 6 things. Yeah, Krishna says, what do you want to understand about me? 6 things. Krishna Tattva, about Krishna. Bhakti Tattva, about his devotion. Prem Tattva, about love, what is love, scientifically. Ras Tattva, what is bliss, about bliss. Bhav Tattva, what is emotions. And Leela Tattva, what are pastimes. So all these things, devotee becomes enthusiastic. Devotee wants to eat Krishna. That's what devotee wants to do. So that Krishna goes in your blood. And he's right there in every drop of your blood. That's the eagerness which devotee gets by doing bhajana. We should do devotion in such a way so that we develop eagerness to attain Krishna. That is bhajan kriya. We were talking about that. Yeah, we have to get Krishna somehow. That's how we do devotion. We serve him. Okay. So we serve him. We purify ourselves slowly and steadily by chanting, by associating, doing all these things. Okay, then, Tatha Anartha Nivriti. If we do these things properly, we become pure. Anartha, you understand Anartha Nivriti? Anartha, how do you define Anartha? Yeah. Anartha is?
Unwanted.
Yeah. So all the unwanted desires, ideas, that is anartha, which is an obstacle on the path of devotion, which is not favorable, which is unfavorable, no? So what do we want to do? If you do devotion properly, you will get free of these unwanted desires. The idea is, the goal of practicing devotion is to get yourself free of anarthas. You have to purify ourselves. So the point is, Vallabhacharya says, when you do devotion nicely, you will get mercy of Krishna. And the first mercy of Lord is that he will give you power to deal with anarthas. Even before that, the first mercy of Krishna will be, He will give you sight to see how many anarthas you have. Not deal with them. First of all, we have to identify what we have, because we also do not know how much bad we are, no? We are very bad. You accept? You're good or bad? Bad or good? If you think we are good, there's a problem. We are bad if you think we are good. We are bad. We are bad guys. That's why we are here. Otherwise, why we are here? We left Krishna, no? What is worse than that? That's worse. We left God. That's the worst thing we can do, no? We left Him. What more bad thing we can do than that? So, people say the greatest problem in this world is terrorism. We say the greatest problem is you left Krishna. That's the greatest problem. That's the worst sin you can, worst thing you can do in your life. You forget Krishna. So Krishna will give you intelligence. Dudami buddhi yogam tam. Give you intelligence to see what are your faults. To get rid of this tendency to find fault with others. That's a habit. We keep on looking faults in others, in the plea to correct them. We do that. And then we say, Prabhu, I don't want to be offensive, but that devotee is doing like that. But no offense. Okay, no offense, I know. But I don't want to talk. If you have no business, then don't talk. If you can do something constructive, then talk. Or if you're involved in that matter, then you can talk. Otherwise, why talk? Because if you are busy looking faults with others, you'll never be able to look your own faults. You're busy looking outside. You have to look inside. And that's a trap. So Krishna will give you this insight to look within yourself. You will understand what problems I'm having. You'll slowly start understanding. Oh, this problem. I'm not doing my job properly. If that happens, that is mercy of God. That is mercy of God. If you start realizing, I'm a bad guy, I have this problem, and when a true devotee, when you have mercy of God, and when you see faults in others, so you know what a good devotee thinks when he sees faults in others? Anyway, everybody has faults now. When he sees faults in others, if he has really mercy of God, he will think, oh, Krishna is teaching me through this devotee. That the same fault you also have. What my point? He is giving an example to show you the same things are in you. So we have to understand that. Krishna is using everybody as an instrument to carve us. He's a potter, no? And he carves nice pots. And we are that pot. And he can do that. And through this word he teaches us. This word is a great laboratory. He's teaching us. Everybody is there to purify us, to teach us something. But of course that's our problem. We don't take teachings because we are egoistic. We think we know many things. So we don't learn, but we can learn. So by devotees we can learn. Okay, fine. I can also fall trap to that fault. I can get trapped, no? So that devotee is doing service to you. Instead of criticizing him, you have to praise him. You have to say thanks to him. Thank you very much for reminding me, for warning me that this is a problem and I should not fall trapped to this. That is attitude. That is another thing. So that is anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti. You start getting insight, then power to handle those anarthas, because sometimes we know what are faults but we can't get over it, no? Weakness of heart. So Krishna gives that power and then you will be able to get above it. And what is that power by which we can cross our faults? What is that power? What is the name of that power? Willpower. Oh yeah, okay, willpower.
Divine.
No, by mercy we get that power. Willpower? Okay. How does he increase our willpower?
By love.
Association to Chudiya.
By love.
I want a different answer, because if you start repeating the same answers, then everything is same, no?
Determination.
There is a power.
Introspection.
Yeah, so how does he make you introspective? He does something so that you become introspective.
Well, the faith has to be there first.
Faith is over, it's
Okay,
gone.
okay. So that is there.
No repeating answers. Because if we repeat answers, then we get repeating things, no? It becomes more unclear. Yeah, he gives us ruchi, interest. Interest. And when we get interest in devotion, interest will lead to insight. That is how Krishna protects his devotees. He gives us interest in him, and then we lose interest in material world. Is it? And when we lose interest in material world, our mind becomes peaceful. When my mind becomes peaceful, it becomes introspective. That is it. Why we are not able to introspect ourselves? Because we are thinking this, so many things. So Krishna pulls our mind. Okay, come here. He pulls our mind by creating interest in himself. He reveals himself, his qualities, his attractiveness to us, to a devotee. And when he pulls our mind goes inside from this world. It turns inside. And then we are able to see, oh my God, they are problems there. Got my point? So that is 𝗙𝗪𝗶𝗹𝗪. Gita says, I protect what you have and I give what you lack. How he protects? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says he protects by giving ruchi. Ruchi is interest. Interest. So we get interested in Krishna. And what do you mean by interest?
Taste.
Okay, taste, but what do you mean by taste?
Like curiosity.
In what?
In liking him.
Hearing the voice of God.
Yeah, I mean to say, curiosity, interest means you want to, if you are interested to buy milk, suppose. So you do some research, organic milk, this milk, that, America especially, milk with no milk. So there are so many options, you go to store, there are so many companies, you have to do some research, no, which is good, which is bad. That is interest. You want a good milk for Krishna and you're interested, so you have to do some research. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says interest is research. You'll start researching Krishna. If you're really interested in Krishna, you will start researching Krishna. How is Krishna's flute? How is Krishna's eyes? How Krishna walks? How Krishna speaks? I want to know. That is interest. So interest is not, so you see, this is the definition. Interest is not just, oh, I like Krishna. Oh, my Krishna. Okay. Then what do you do, my Krishna? I'm getting sleep for Krishna. Okay. This is interest? This is not interest. This is, you are just on something, your imagination. Interest will lead you to research. You will want to know about Krishna. You will search books. You will automatically search books. What are those books? Where can I know about Krishna? How does Krishna walk? Let's discuss about that. Has anybody discussed any time how Krishna walks? Never? See? See this? See the point? You can see the point? We are not on the point. This is so important question. How Krishna walks? We are serving him. We like him. Don't you want to know more about him? What liking you have? You don't want to know more about him. What's the meaning of that liking? No? What's the meaning of that liking? I like that girl. Oh, she's so nice. I want to know about her. No? Then that boyfriend will call her girlfriend. Oh, your voice is so sweet. When you close your eyelids, you are like anything. No? And he's focusing on that female. So much focused. He's focusing on every action. And that is what is interest. Krishna will give you this gift. This is a gift. This will not come itself. Now we think we have interest, but we don't have. You understand, after you define, we don't have interest. The interest, yeah, we have interest, but it is reflection of the true interest. So that's what Rupa Goswami says. We can't say we don't have interest. We don't have interest in what you are doing here. But that's a reflection. That's a shadow of true interest. Something. But you have to advance. So when you do devotion nicely, when you so to cross those anarthas, to cross those unwanted things, Krishna will give you a gift of interest. You get eagerness to know about him. And then you will read Krishna book. You will search Krishna book, not read. You will research Krishna book. It's not reading it. You'll research. Okay, what is my Krishna? What is Bhagavatam, nectar of devotion? Things your ears will become thirsty, not your tongue. You want to hear something about Krishna. You want to know how are the anklets of Krishna. I want to know that. Yes, I want to know that.
So how does Krishna work?
Yeah. See, no, so interest is contagious. I get it. Yeah, so please go and read about that. So Prabhupada has written Nectar of Devotion. Read. So Krishna walks in 24 ways. There are 24 ways in he walks. So he walks like elephant, he walks like a swan, he walks like a horse. There is all descriptions there. And every posture is elegant. That's Krishna. And then when you chant, your mind will fix on chanting. No, otherwise how it will fix? You don't have interest and you're chanting and you're trying to focus. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You can do millions of times, but you will not be able to focus your mind. You will have pain in your neck. You can do whatever you want. You can bang your head. You do whatever you want. You can shout Hare Krishna. And nothing is going to happen. You get voice problem. You can do all those things, but this will not lead you to the desired result. If you want to focus on chanting, you have to develop interest. Then you chant Krishna and your mind is there. Finish. No questions. Because you know so much about Krishna, you have heard about him. So that you see this gift of Krishna. So what was the first gift of Krishna? Okay, fine. The first mercy of Krishna was faith. Faith. And the second mercy of Krishna was? Sadhu Sang, a good devotee. Association of, he will send you. If you are eager, he will send you a good devotee. He will send you. Okay, you want to know? This is a devotee. Go. And third mercy is, when you really do devotion nicely, third mercy is ruchi, by which you will have introspection. You will be able to, and you see if you have interest, then your willpower increases, no? Automatically it increases. You get introspective. You are able to see your faults and everything becomes okay. So that is why the next step after anarth nivritti is ruchi. But before ruchi there is something called nishtha. Nishtha. So ruchi and nishtha go together. Actually it's like that, but you get fixed in devotion, nishtha, with the help of ruchi. You get interest. That's why you got fixed in devotion. So Krishna is giving so many gifts. See, he's giving, but he will reward. Yathamam prapadyante. As you surrender, so shall he reward. And surrender needs intelligence. You have to be intelligent. Prabhupada says devotee has to be intelligent. Yagya sankirtana hi prayar. You have heard this verse? Yagya sankirtana hi prayar. Yajanti hi sumedasa. Medasa means intelligence. Sumedasa means very intelligent. So we are talking some intelligent talks now. You get something? So you have to be intelligent. You have to be very intelligent to advance in devotion. You can't take things lightly. You can't take things lightly. Okay. You have to be happy but at the same time intelligent. Both things. Okay, so nishtha, ruchi, and then when you get interest and you research, interest means research. Now you're researching about Krishna, you're knowing about Krishna, you're understanding about Krishna and Radha, and you're hearing about him. You want to know how many flutes he has, how many peacock feathers he has, what he talks with Yashodama, what he talks with Nanda Baba, what he does in night, what he does in morning. Now you got to know so many things. You're hearing, chanting, serving him. You're absorbed. Then Krishna will give you next gift. What is that? Asakti, attachment. Attachment to him. So there's a difference between attachment and interest. Ruchi. What's the difference?
You can be
Spontaneous.
interested in somebody but you may not necessarily care.
Yeah. Is there any, okay. I'm interested in Krishna, so it means I'm attached now. Otherwise, should be attached, but then what's the meaning of attachment and interest? There is some clear-cut distinction between attachment and interest.
Interest can change.
No. The level we're talking about interest is after nishtha.
Okay, so
We are fixed. This doesn't change. I'm talking about fixed interest and attachment.
Like Vishwas and Andavishwas?
No. It's clear, interest and attachment. So, what's the difference? Difference is, at the level of interest and the level of attachment, there's a very subtle difference. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in his book, Madhurya Kadamini, he says, you see, when you are interested in Krishna, you will do research, you will chant, everything will be nice. But you can be tempted by this material world. There's a chance to get tempted. Your mind will wander. But at the level of attachment, you don't get tempted. Nothing can tempt you. Your mind doesn't wander. At the level of interest, in other words, at the level of interest, devotion proceeds from us to God. At the level of attachment, devotion begins from God to us. At the level of interest, we are trying to approach Krishna. At the level of attachment, Krishna is trying to pull us. There is a big difference. Big difference. So at the level of interest, because we are trying to approach Krishna, sometimes we don't do that. Our mind wanders. Until unless we are the association of devotees, it's nice, our mind is settled, everything. As soon as we go out, things starts bothering us. But when you are attached, even if you're out inside, nothing can happen to you. Because at the level of interest, you are holding Krishna and you have a free will to leave him. But at the level of attachment, Krishna is holding you. You can't leave him. You're out inside, he's holding you. You got this point? This is attachment and interest. So we have to, Krishna will give you that gift, attachment. So real devotion begins with attachment. Now you are safe. Before attachment, it's very unsafe, no? Yeah.
what's the difference between attachment and nishtha then? When you say you're fixed,
No, fixed is, you're fixed in conception. You're fixed at your goal.
okay.
But attachment is something else. You're attached. But my mind, we are convinced of it. This is right. That is determined, fixed. I don't have anything else. This is correct, everything is wrong. Attachment is higher levels. I'm attached.
You are getting in agreement. The other person is also.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, he accepts you.
Yeah, he accepts
You. So attachment. So at the level of attachment, we are safe. Before that, it's an unsafe journey. So, you see, we are not even doing devotion. We are not at real platform of devotion. We are not really doing devotion. We are unsafe. All of us are unsafe. And let's realize this fact: we are unsafe now. Because we don't think we are unsafe. You got that? I told you initially in the lecture, we think we are safe with Krishna, but we have to remember we are very unsafe because anytime we can be pulled away. So we have to reach to platform of attachment. At least we are safe there. We are attached to Krishna, it's okay, we are safe. And then after attachment, then it's okay because it becomes easy because now Krishna is pulling us. Now we can't stop, he will pull us. At the level of interest, if you want to forget Krishna, you will be able to forget Krishna. If you want to leave him, okay. But at the level of attachment, if you want to leave him, you will not be able to leave him. If you want to forget him, your mind will not allow. Prabhupada says, if a pure devotee wants to forget Krishna, his mind will not allow. And there's one saint, South Indian saint, Tiruvai. He said, if you leave Krishna, if Krishna is left, Krishna leaves. That's what. It's a beautiful line, and if you meditate on that, it's beautiful. If Krishna is left, he leaves. That is interest platform. It's up to you. But if you attach to him, he cannot leave. That's what that Acharya says, he cannot leave. You have bound him, no? Damodar Ashtakam? You bound him. So when you become attached, then it's easy. Then Krishna gives, Krishna gives, yeah.
So isn't it the definition of Bhakti Yoga? That's what when we do Bhakti Yoga, we have a two-way.
Yeah, that's what okay, fine, there's a quiz. What is 7th chapter, first verse? Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. 7th chapter, first verse. Anybody? Yeah. Mayi asakta mana partha yogam yunjan madashraya. After that? Asamshayam samagram mam yatha 𝗙𝗂𝗪𝗲𝗍 𝗪𝗏. Krishna says, be attached to me. So actually devotion starts with attachment. You got my point?
Oh, okay.
Actually devotion, but before that we call it as practice devotion. That is sadhana bhakti. You got my point? So this is why Krishna starts 7th chapter, which is 7 to 12 is devotion service. He starts with attachment. He doesn't start with faith. Got my point? Because actual devotion starts with attachment. Now we can understand why. Okay, so after attachment, he gives another gift. If we continue with good devotees, if we nurture our attachment, now we have to nurture our attachment. We are doing more research. And then we continue, then Krishna will give us another gift, emotions, bhava, emotions for God. There's a difference between attachment and attachment. You can be attached, but emotions is very strong attachment. 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪 mamta 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪. Rupa Goswami says, when the attachment becomes 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪, very, very great. Great means when your attachment becomes to such a level that mamta, that you start thinking Krishna is mine. That kind of attachment. Krishna is mine. That is emotions. You get to the level of emotions, bhava, and then when bhava matures, then you get to the level of prema, love. At the level of love, your heart melts. Melts doesn't mean your shirt will become wet. It doesn't mean that. If you don't see your shirt. So what do you mean by heart melting? That Rupa Goswami says this word Sanskrit. Swantaha marsneya. Your heart melts. Swantaha marsneya. It melts. It becomes soft like butter. It becomes soft like butter, and Krishna is butter thief. He'll take that butter. But first we have to make our heart butter. Then he'll steal it. So what do you mean by melting heart? Then I'll stop.
You'll do anything for that person.
Crying for Krishna.
Yeah, you have to cry.
Is that something you're going to develop, that spontaneous love for him?
No, something scientific definition I want. Objective.
Tears.
Objective.
The tears.
Tears are the symptom of melting.
Absorbed.
That's not melting. Huh?
Absorbed.
Absorption. Absorption is a part of melting. How do you define melting? What do you mean by melting? Melting of heart.
Addiction.
Yeah, addiction you can say, yeah. Yeah, your heart melts means Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, they define melting of heart. And the defined melting of heart is you start feeling separation from him at the platform of love. Your heart melts because of a fire, no? Fire will melt this. So you have to get a fire in your heart to melt. And the fire of separation. There are 3 fires we should always remember. Except cooking fire. That's always there. 3 fires will help you to advance. The fire of guilt. Guilt. I'm bad, I'm nothing. The fire of service, enthusiasm. Spirit, the fire. And fire of separation. So, devotion starts with fire of service, proceeds to fire of guilt, and ends in fire of separation. And this fire of separation will melt your heart. That's melting. And melting means you will want to meet Krishna face to face. That's the meaning of melting. Your heart will flow to Krishna, no? I want to meet you, no? Just like a lover wants to meet beloved. Is it? Beloved says, my heart melts for you. What that means? I want to meet you. I want to embrace you. I want to kiss you, whatever. So that desire for meeting Lord, that is called melting. We want to meet Krishna face to face. We want to talk to Him. That's the idea. We are not happy. we are not satisfied by putting a mala to him and having a picture. We are not satisfied. We are happy to have Krishna, mala, everything. But we are not satisfied. If you are satisfied by this, your devotion is finished. We want Krishna to talk to us. That's all. We want Krishna to talk to us. That's all. That is melting heart. No? You want Krishna to come out of there and talk. You want that. Maybe to a little extent, but at the platform of love, you want that. You will die if you don't talk to Krishna face to face. Prabhupada says, devotee will talk to Krishna face to face. That is love, that is melting. That will happen by fire of separation. And then our life is perfect. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. We have perfected your life in 1.5 hours. We have started from faith and went to love. And I'll ask, first before my question is, who has put more efforts, us or Krishna? Krishna, no, you see. He was giving us mercy after one gift, after another gift, after another gift. Our efforts are very small in front of how much Krishna is working for us. He has to think a lot for us. No, because he makes a plan and then we mess it up. And then he makes another plan and then we again mess it up by our own foolish ideas. But he will not leave us. He will do something. He's a very good leader, very good guide, very good teacher. He'll do that. So he is doing so much for us. And that is why we are so indebted. We like him so much. And we want to do for him. If you know all these things, then you will feel I want to do something for Krishna. How are you doing so much? So that's the idea. Okay, yeah, Prabhu, what do you want to ask?
Are all of these stages very clearly defined and demarcated? For example, a devotee can be doing bhajan kriya and then at the same time the another will be going on. So can a devotee be in both stages or more than one?
No, the stages are defined, but of course they can intermingle, but they are defined. I mean to say, at the level of unearthly you can't have attachment.
I mean,
So that can't happen like
bhajan
that.
kriya and another.
Yeah, of course. See, the point is now things become complex. Like if I go in details, now we were proceeding from previous stage to another stage. Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, faith, association, bhajan kriya, anarth nivritti. Now you have to remember, when you go higher, previous stages are included in previous stage. When you go higher, previous stages are included. When you go to Sadhu Sang, when you go to bhajan kriya, Sadhu Sang is included in bhajan kriya. You don't leave that stage. When you go to anarth nivritti, bhajan kriya is included in that. When you go to nishtha, anarth nivritti is included. When you go to ruchi, nishtha is included. You got that point? So when you go higher, things are included. And that's how they intermingle like that.
So anarth nivritti, for example, it goes on for a long time.
Yeah, it goes on. Anarth nivritti. So, yeah, pretty much. I mean to say, if you are doing bhajan, you also have ruchi. You got at bhajan kriya also you have interest, but that interest is not blossomed. That's the idea. So this is a technical term. We have two technical terms: jat ruchi, ajat ruchi. At the level of bhajan kriya, you have interest, but that's not fully blossomed. That's not like, what can I say? Blossomed, you understand? No? But at the level of ruchi, it's blossomed. So things are together, but these are good demarcations. We don't get confused. Yeah, so any other questions? Yes, sometime. 2 minutes. Yeah.
When like someone takes initiation, he's at the stage of like nishtha.
No. At initiation means beginning.
Beginning.
Yeah. Initiation means beginning. It's not the end. People think I'm initiated and the end. No. That's beginning. That's all. Initiation means you start. Level of Shraddha. Bhajan kriya, that's all. See, people take initiation as a very, very big thing. It is important. It is very big, but it's not the end. Then your journey starts. Otherwise. Yeah.
You had mentioned that you should stick to your limits and that it takes a while to understand.
Yeah, you're right. It takes a while to understand.
I'm asking, Prabhupada, I'm not saying.
It takes a while to understand limits, because that's also mercy of Krishna to understand what is my limits.
Until then, can you take some chance and leap forward?
The leap of faith. So yeah, this is at 𝗙𝗪, leap of faith. But No, but the idea is, if you don't understand what are limits, that's why we need devotees to have guards, so that they can tell what is limits. No, so just like on beach, you have these guards, bay guards, what we call it? Lifeguards. So then you should have lifeguards so that you don't go too much into ocean. And once you understand your limits, then you don't need too much association. Now what do I mean by that is, once you understand your limit, then you take association for something else. Previous to understanding your limits, when you're new, you need association for something else. That's what Mahaprabhu says. Krishna Bhakti Jan Mool Hoy Sadhu Sang, Krishna Prem Janme Teho Punhe Mukhyam. When you are new, when you are unsafe, you want association of devotees to guard you. When you understand your limits, you advance, then you need association of devotees to relish. Not to understand, but to relish, because you know your limits, he knows his limits, but then why we are together? To relish, no? So when you are new in sea, swimming in sea, then you need some tubes, lifeguard, we will stay here, and then you are okay. When you are expert, you are going, the lifeguard will also swim with you, and you will enjoy, oh nice swimming, no, nice, so both are swimming, so like that. So that makes a difference. You need association, but for different things. So we always need association.
One more question if nobody has any.
Yeah, nobody is asking.
You never grew.
Nobody is asking me. I don't have free term.
Now it's okay, but see,
One by one.
Yeah.
You to write on a pocket book.
You have to give me treat. I'm okay. I don't want this. Yeah.
From very practical.
Anyway, thank you for this. First of all.
The practical suggestions how we can enrich our association, because
I told you practical suggestion. You have to find a devotee first of all. That research you have to do. I can't do for you. You have to find good devotee. See, in devotion, this is where we have to put efforts. To find a good devotee. Otherwise, there's a problem. And if you cannot find, if always you can't get association of devotees, then the next option is find devotees in books. So read books. Read books. Books is association. Read Prabhupada books, you are associated with Prabhupada. Read Rupa Goswami books, you are associated with Rupa Goswami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivedanta. Take the association. Association means transfer of ideas, no? So you get ideas transferred from that to your mind, and that's association.
and we are working on Mahatattva Prabhuji, and he asked if he was here, and he said he would be coming here. Would that mean that
Okay,
sign of progress for us?
Yeah, good. It is a sign of progress if you want to progress. It depends on us. It depends on us.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
See, we had a discussion like last week or this week, I prefer to read the books, and my wife said, "Why do you have to read books?" I said,
The wife is here.
Yes, she's here. So we had a nice discussion.
I have to be careful to answer things.
No, yeah. But then, of course, then I explained, she says, okay, I also love Krishna. And then I said, there's a difference between loving Krishna and then developing spontaneous love. And
Okay.
in both cases, all cases, we said we are neither of that state. We still have to read the books.
Well, I think so.
So is that
She listened to my seminar, and now it's pretty clear. We are not near love. Where is love? It's pretty clear. We don't have even interest in Krishna.
Yeah, we don't.
When we talk of love, we don't want to know him. Where is love? Interest, attachment, emotions, love, separation. What about that? We can have euphoria of having love. But
That's what we
euphoria.
have, right?
So that's euphoria.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing. So, but you can aspire for love, but you should not think you have love, because that is hypocrisy. Prem kapat, that's called. So that's not a good idea. Let's go slowly, steadily. So who won the race, tortoise or rabbit? You heard that story, no? Tortoise, no? So don't run fast. Run carefully. Take next step. When that step is formed, leave the otherwise you'll fall down, trip. So books. And first of all, if you have love, then you'll read more books.
Right.
Isn't it? If you love Krishna, then you want to know about him more. Then you'll read more than the person who doesn't have love. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he couldn't sleep entire night. He was reading Bhagavatam. He was not sleeping. He was not sleeping. He was just finding Krishna there. He wanted to read books and find Krishna. Krishna is in Bhagavatam and Gita. So that's a sign of love. So.
Because in the books, I think when we were reading like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like they discuss something and then they start crying. And I explain like, hey, we are crying. We are reading the same thing. We are not even crying. We don't even feel.
Who is crying?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah.
So that's how I understood. Like I said, I'm not even crying. Like
we have to worship that platform,
right?
Not follow it.
Right.
That is pujaniya, not anukaraniya. That's something Bhakti Santa used to say in Bengali. Worship that. Pujala Rakpat Gaurava Mange. Worship that platform. Yes, please.
So if somebody has progressed in devotion and they feel that, okay, no, I don't have to go somewhere else because I will not get anything out of it. Is the right thing, or like
no,
they should associate and then go at least teach or share?
No, but the point is, it's not about teaching also. If you progressed, you will associate to relish.
No, but like they feel that there's nobody at my level.
Yeah, if there's nobody of your level, okay, fine. Then if you really have a treasure you want to share, so then you will go to give. That's the idea. If you don't have a treasure, then there's a question. No?
But it is sign of somebody has really progressed, or they sign of actually they have gone down.
If they're progressing and they're not associating, then they are. And it might be complex, because if you're progressing, sometimes people take to solitary bhajan. When they're very progressed, that might be the case. But if you're really progressing, you want to share.
Because my point is, like if Prabhupada wanted, he had already, when he came to US, he was already at different level.
Yeah, we are progressing, we want to share, There's no question. If a person is not sharing, he's selfish. No? If that person is still selfish, he's not progressed. What's the progression? So there's a problem there. We want to share.
Adding to his question, when you are saying that they're not progressing because they are not ready to share, they might feel that their level has been advanced or something like that, saying that, okay, I don't want to mingle with these devotees, I only want to mingle with the pure devotees, as you said in the, that can be their position. They're saying that I want to do more higher activities, which I will progress in that.
Yeah, that can be there. Sometimes you want to devote some time, I want to improve. But at the same time, I mean to say, if you're getting something, you always want to share. That is spiritual word. Material word is you get something, you keep. That is material word. So in the realm of spiritual word, you get for free, you distribute for free. So Krishna is giving us gift, and you want to give gift. That's a sign of saint, no? Paropkar. This is the biggest quality of a saint, Paropkar. So we want to share. So okay, fine, there are many devotees. Sometimes frequency doesn't match. That's a problem. That's a big problem with everybody. If your frequency doesn't match, then you don't want to associate. And we want to share, but you don't want to associate because your frequency is not matching. That time, I don't know, that's another situation. That some actions has to be taken for that. But nevertheless, we want to share. If there's nobody to share, speak to walls. That's all. Speak to a dog. America, there's a dog. Everybody has a dog. Okay, that's Krishna Consciousness. But devotee, if there's nobody, speak to yourself. Share with yourself. Okay, listen, Keshav Anand. I have to tell you something. So like that. It's good to help devotees. Even if frequency doesn't match. Sometimes it's impossible to get frequency match. That's also there. But it's good to be together. See, the point is all problems come because we are not discussing about Krishna. I'll tell you, that's a problem. We might think we are doing programs and we are discussing about Krishna. But no, we are not discussing about Krishna. We discuss now about Krishna. No? You have to analyze things. You have to get your mind working. You have to discuss about Krishna. And I can do an experiment here, and I know most of you will fail. I can do that. I can ask anybody, okay, anybody can speak 5 minutes on flute of Krishna? No, no. 4 minutes? 3 minutes? 2 minutes? 1 minute?
You can pronounce flute.
Flute is powerful, like that's all.
Okay, good. That's not 1 minute.
Not
You see? So I had been to Jagannath Puri, and there was one saint. He's not from ISKCON. He's from other, whatever he is, but he's a well-known devotee. He's a very pure devotee. He's like 70 years. And I was hearing his lecture, and then I asked, what he was speaking on anklets of Krishna. And I asked, okay, fine. So what's tomorrow's topic? He told, well, I was not there. My friend was there. He told, well, what tomorrow topic? Since 3 months I've been speaking on anklet of Krishna. So what do? Oh my God, this is shocking. But this is called absorption. So this is the point. We are not discussing about Krishna. We think we are discussing about Krishna, but we are not. Because if you are discussing about Krishna, there can be no problems. This is not theory, no. Wherever there is Krishna, there is no darkness. We have read this, no. It is a theory. If you are in contact with Krishna, there will be no problems. Problem begins when we get detached with Krishna. And the problem begins when we think we are with Krishna, but actually we are not. That's the problem. So things will get settled if we are infused with Krishna consciousness. To a large extent, things can solve. I don't say 100%, because material world problems always will be there. You can never set things right 100%. That's spiritual world. But it can reduce. It can reduce. So like that.
But I think that we want to check Mata for the time check. Is it okay?
Right.
Yeah, last one.
Okay.
Oh, but this question is not related with today's lecture, but is it okay if I can ask you right now? Or I can
Yeah, you ask question and I will relate it to today's topic. Everything is related.
No, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the initiation from the Mayavadi sannyasi.
Sannyas initiation. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗲𝗀.
𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗲𝗪, but he was a Mayavadi sannyasi.
Yeah, he was.
Sannyasi.
Actually, he was not Mayavadi, but anyways, it's completely.
Okay, and that's what I mean. So how they are connected with the parampara, like say Madhvacharya to?
No, he took that is sannyas initiation. His original Diksha initiation is from Ishwarpur.
Oh, okay. So
And 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗲 is not a Mayavadi.
Right.
Because externally he was posing as Mayavadi, internally he was a Vaishnava. Because at that time it was a very complex situation. There was no Vaishnavism, Mayavad was all around. There was Sufism, Islam was a very, so these generally Vaishnava saints, they used to take Mayavadi initiation because otherwise Mayavadis were killing Vaishnavas. They were killing them, literally killing. So to save themselves, So internally he was. Externally they used to take all this and it was a patch of work. This is all history.
Okay.
So it is said Shankaracharya also killed many people. He plotted. He asked his disciples to kill, and that's why he could establish Mayavad. He plotted with kings, and he killed people. Just finish Vaishnavism. That's all. Just finish. And there's a big history for that. And they were doing these things. Well, it's right or wrong. That's another question. He was doing service for God, but whatever. He is Lord Shiva, so he can do such things. But the point is, things were very bad. Sridhar Swami, he was a Vaishnava, but externally he posed as Mayavadi. If you go to Mayavadi Sampradaya, his name is top. And they say, he's our sannyasi. That's okay, but inside his heart, he was a devotee. So it was very, and especially Jainism. So we had Mayavadis, we also had Jains, Jainism. They were also anti to the atheistic religion, they were anti to Vaishnavism. Everybody was so complex. That's okay. So okay. Thank you very much for hearing me and tolerating me. Hare Krishna.